that 1 in 2 billion people would live only up to 116 years or older? That's a quote from the CDC in 2016. That's right. As humans, we are not invincible, and we unfortunately will die, which is what brings us to the topic of hospice. Hospice care provides pain-free support to the patients and creates comfort while maintaining the quality of life. Once you begin your journey as a hospice volunteer, you will forever be changed. My personal experience of spending time volunteering at a hospice center and through my extensive research, I have become a credible source for giving this speech. By the end of this speech, you will know a little bit of history of hospice, what I accomplished through my service project, how it impacted me, and how it impacted the lives of others. Now that we've talked a little bit about what hospice is, let's talk about the history. Hospice can be traced back to medieval times. It was referred to a place of shelter and the rest for the weary or ill travelers on a long journey. According to an article written by the Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, physician Dawn Cicely Saunders began her work in 1948. She first applied this name to specialized care for the dying patients. She created the first hospice house in the suburb of London. Hospice is still prevalent today in the United States. And if you refer to this chart on my computer, you can see that hospice doesn't always have to happen in a hospital. Hospice can come to your home and take care of you while you are in your need, and it can also come to residential areas like a nursing home. Now that we've talked a little bit about the history of hospice, let's talk about what I accomplished through my service project. For my service project, I was able to volunteer for the Hospice Center in Jasper County. They are based on the Catholic Church belief system. Mother Teresa helps guide the nurses' practice and allows the patients to embody prayer and comfort during their time of need. The Hospice Center started in 1989 and was originally called the Monarch Wing to avoid the term hospice. After caring extensively for the dying, the Monarch Wing was renamed to the Hospice Center. This allowed for families to understand the concept better and to come to terms with the dying process. The Hospice Center saw a decrease in patients as more people were wishing to die at home. But recently their census has risen and they are in desperate need of volunteers. Now that I've told you a little bit about the Jasper County Hospice House, I will now tell you why hospice is such a great organization and what I did during my service project. Hospice is a scary word, and many people do not like to hear it. There's a huge stigma on the word dying, but the reality is that we all face our own mortality. Hospice care that supports the patients in improving quality of life when the end is near, and there is no cure. Hospice can help people have a safe and comfortable journey as they pass from this life on to the next. Patients are eligible for hospice care if they have a life expectancy of 6 months or less. I was able to actively listen to the patient's stories. I heard incredible stories of how they met their spouse. I also heard funny stories that would leave the patients in tears while they were reminiscing. I was also able to establish a relationship with the family members and pray with them during this difficult time. The most unusual task I was given was to go around and hand out a single flower to each individual patient. At first I thought this was rather odd, but after I saw the glimmering smile arise on each patient's face, I knew why they had given me this task. When hospice is referred to a patient at the right time, relationships can be rekindled and opportunities can arise for patients to complete goals and relive memories with their loved ones. I was able to help patients achieve their bucket list items to improve their quality of life. I also filled the gap between the loved ones and the professional caregivers, and was there even when friends and family find it hard to do so. Volunteering for hospice allowed me to become more comfortable with death, and allowed me to see the beauty of honoring somebody's life rather than mourn their death. Now that I have described what I learned through my service project, I will now tell you why hospice so desperately needs volunteers. Hospice needs your help, and they need it now. In an article written by the National Hospice Palliative Care in 2015, approximately 44 deaths were under the care of a hospice program. That's almost half of our dying population. And as you can see in these charts, Our baby boomers are not getting old any younger. They need hospice care so they can die in peace. So if you see in these charts, in 2030, this is when our baby boomers are going to reach the time where they need hospice. So that is why we need volunteers. We need volunteers to hold the hands of the dying and to actively listen to their stories, to share their life lessons, and pass out flowers to brighten their day. We need you. The spirit of hospice volunteering is born from a genuine desire to give from within. According to the CDC, 105 people die each minute, but cannot prevent the inevitable. You can hold their hand with their last breath and provide them with the peace and comfort to send them home. I considered hospice volunteering to be a positive turning point in my life, and I hope you will be the same for you.